A millionaire takes his girlfriend to a shack and pretends he's broke to test if she'll stay. What happens next will break your heart and put it back together again. Don't open your eyes yet, just trust me. She had no idea what was coming. None of us ever do, when the person we love most is about to test everything we believe about ourselves. Her breathing was nervous as hands guided her over broken concrete. Her designer heels struggled on uneven ground. The blindfold came off, her face froze. What she saw next would change her life forever. But here's the thing about love. Sometimes the greatest test isn't whether you'll stay, it's whether you'll ever forgive them for testing you at all. This is the story of what happened next. 3 months earlier, he was standing in his penthouse, staring at the city below, asking himself the same question he'd asked 100 times before. Will she love me, or just love what I can give her? His name was Marcus, and what matters most is what happened to him. 3 times before he'd opened his heart, 3 times before the moment his money disappeared, so did they, doors slammed, numbers blocked, hearts turned cold. So when he met her, Sarah, this beautiful, kind daughter of a wealthy family who seemed different, he made a decision. A terrible, desperate, brilliant decision. He was going to find out the truth. Now she was standing in front of a shack, literally a shack with rusty tin walls and no door. Marcus, this is your house. Look at her face, really look at it. That's not just surprise, that's her entire world tilting on its axis. I know it's not much. Someone's letting me stay here until I can get back on my feet. I wanted to tell you, but… Back on your feet, what are you saying? Here's what she didn't know. Everything she thought was real. The successful businessman, the bright future, the plans they made, gone, at least. That's what he wanted her to believe. She stepped inside, a mattress on the floor, torn blankets, a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling. And here's where most people would run. Here's where the other 3 did. Because love is easy when there's champagne and 5-star restaurants. But love in a place like this, that's when you find out who someone really is. Keep watching, because what happens next, even he didn't see coming. She stood there silent for what felt like forever, and he was preparing himself, preparing for her to leave, preparing for heartbreak number 4. But then… Why didn't you tell me? I could have helped. I could have. Wait, stop, rewind that. She wasn't running. She was upset that he didn't ask for help. His face showed complete shock. What kind of man would I be if I let you take care of me? I'd be a failure. I'd be… Stop, just stop. You're not lazy, I know you. You have dreams, ambition. If you just told me, we could have faced this together. And right there in that moment, something shifted. Because tests work both ways, don't they? He was testing her loyalty, but she was revealing something much deeper, character. She sat down on the mattress, didn't even flinch at the dirt. He offered her bread and peanuts, not a joke, actual bread with peanuts and a warm Pepsi. The same woman who grew up with private chefs and crystal glasses took that bread and smiled. I'm going to change. There's a small bathroom out back, just make yourself comfortable. And he left her there, alone, in the heat, with the mosquitoes, and the reality of what staying with him would actually mean. She looked around, the cracked walls, the open roof, no privacy, no comfort. This is the moment. This is when the test becomes real. What kind of life is this? And then she disappeared. He came back, the bread was untouched, her bag was gone, she was nowhere. His worst fear, happening again. Did you see her, my girlfriend? She had a bag, she was just here. A neighbor responded, harsh and mocking. Your girlfriend? You think some girl like that gonna stay with you, in this place? You're dreaming, boy, wake up. And his heart shattered, because maybe she was right, maybe he was dreaming. But then he heard footsteps behind him. She was walking toward him, wet hair, carrying a bucket of water. I found the well out back, thought we could use some fresh water. Pause, let that sink in. She didn't run, she went to fetch water from a well. This woman, who'd never done manual labor in her life, who probably had people who brought her water in crystal glasses, rolled up her sleeves and drew water from a well. You fetched water. Of course, we need it, don't we? And there it is, the moment everything changes, not because she stayed, but because she participated. She didn't just tolerate his poverty, she stepped into it, lived it, made it hers. He broke down, actually cried, she held him. But here's what she didn't know, and here's where this story gets complicated, because while she was proving her love was real, he was lying to her. The next day, they walked the neighborhood together. She met his neighbors, ate street food for the first time, laughed when kids splashed muddy water on her expensive shoes. They shared bread, she learned to fetch water. They slept side by side on that thin mattress with mosquitoes buzzing around them. And every moment he watched her, studied her, waited for the mask to slip, for the complaint, for the moment she'd had enough. It never came. She was actually happy, genuinely laughing. You know what? I've had this on my bucket list forever, living like this, just for a day, experiencing how other people live. I never thought I'd actually do it. A bucket list, she had poverty on her bucket list. That's when he knew this wasn't an act. This wasn't her being polite. She was genuinely curious about a life she'd never known, and she loved him enough to live it. She's the one. So he made his decision. Tomorrow he'd tell her the truth. Tomorrow he'd bring her to his real home, the penthouse, the cars, the life he'd hidden from her. Tomorrow she'd understand why he did this. But sometimes, tomorrow doesn't go the way we plan, because what he didn't consider was this: how do you tell someone you love that everything was a lie? He blindfolded her again, led her through the city. She was laughing, playful. Another surprise. After yesterday, I don't know if I can handle your surprises anymore. If only she knew. The blindfold came off. She was standing in front of a massive modern apartment building. Doorman, marble lobby, the works. Where are we? Welcome to my real home, our home if you'll have it. Watch her face, the confusion, then the realization. You're real, what? The place I showed you yesterday, that's where I grew up. But this is where I live now. I'm actually very successful, a millionaire. Wait, stop, what are you saying? And here it comes, the moment of truth. It was a test. I had to know if you loved me for me, not for my money. The other women, they all left the moment they saw that shack. But you stayed, you passed, you. She slapped him hard. And the test became something else entirely. A test, you tested me. I can explain. Explain what? That you think I'm some gold digger, that you lied to me, made me believe you were struggling when you were living in luxury the whole time. Here's the thing about tests, they reveal truth, but sometimes they destroy trust. Do you know who I am? My father can buy anything I want. I don't need your money, I never did, I chose you, the person I thought you were, and you tested me like I was some stranger off the street. And there it is, the fatal flaw in his plan. He was so focused on finding out if she loved him, he never considered what she'd feel when she found out he didn't trust her. I've been hurt 3 times before. Women left me the moment the money was gone. I had to know, I had to. So you compare me to them, put me through some cruel test because of what other people did to you. She was packing her purse, walking toward the door. And he realized, in that moment, he'd made a terrible mistake. He won the test, but he was about to lose her anyway. What happens next will determine everything. Wait, please, just listen to me. She stopped, not because she forgave him, but because despite everything, part of her still wanted to hear him out. When I came back and couldn't find you yesterday, I thought you'd left. I thought I'd lost another person I cared about. But then you came back with that bucket of water and I realized, you're different. You slept on that floor with me, you fetched water, you met my neighbors, you ate bread and peanuts and smiled like it was a 5-star meal. No one has ever done that for me, no one. She's listening, but her arms are still crossed. Her eyes still hurt. I know I messed up, I know this was wrong, but what you did for me, it was the most beautiful thing anyone has ever done. You didn't just pass my test, you showed me what real love looks like. She's softening, just slightly. You should have just trusted me from the beginning. I know, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And here's where most stories would end. Apology accepted, fade to black, but real life, real love, it's messier than that. I don't know if I can forgive you, not right now. Silence heavy, painful. Then let me spend every day earning it back. Let me show you that what we had in that shack, that laughter, that connection, was real. The only real thing I've felt in years. She turned to leave again, and he did something crazy, something desperate, something cinematic. He dropped to one knee. What are you doing? I know I don't deserve this. I know I broke your trust. But I also know that what we had in that neighborhood, on that floor, eating that bread, that was the happiest I've ever been. He pulled out a ring, a beautiful, brilliant ring. I want to wake up next to you every morning. I want to eat bread and peanuts with you for the rest of my life if that's what you want. I want to take walks through rough neighborhoods and five-star hotels and everywhere in between. I want to travel the world with you, have children with you, grow old with you. I want to spend every single day proving that my love for you is real. She's crying now, actually crying. You hurt me. I know, and I'll spend forever making it up to you, if you'll let me. Close up on her face, the decision hanging in the air. So here's the question, the only question that matters. Can you forgive someone who tested your love if the test proved it was real? She looked at the ring, then at him. Yes. They got married 3 months later, not in a palace or a five-star hotel, in that same neighborhood where it all began. The neighbors celebrated street food at the reception, them dancing in the dirt where they first walked together. Because she taught him something important, something he'd forgotten in all his wealth and success. Love isn't about where you are, it's about who you're with. And yes, they had the penthouse, the cars, the vacations, all of it, but every year on their anniversary, they spend one night in that shack, eating bread and peanuts, remembering the moment when love proved it could survive anything. Even a test. So here's my question for you. If someone tested your love like this, would you stay? Would you forgive them? Drop your answer in the comments. And if this story moved you, hit that subscribe button because I bring you powerful stories like this every single week. Stories about love, loyalty, betrayal, and redemption. Stories that remind us what it means to be human.